had joined us a couple months ago when Casey Steinbacher from Durham, North Carolina was here. Casey shared that in Durham and in many downtowns, downtowns really are the living rooms of our community. They're where our guests come and experience our city. And they're also everyone's neighborhood. So if I live on the east side, the west side, north and south, the goal is that everyone feels welcome and included in our downtown. And that's a big part of what we want to talk about today is how together as a community can we bring our downtown to the next level, capitalize on what is unprecedented growth that we're seeing in the downtown area, and make sure that those individual investments, individual projects are greater than the sum of their parts by being coordinated and really helping us address some needs that our community has. So I want to thank you all for taking time out of your evenings to be here. We're going to start with about a 25 to 30 minute presentation, and then we'll be hearing from you for the rest of the night. So stick with us for the next 30 minutes, and then it's going to be your chance to share with our teams at the different engagement stations your thoughts about the downtown. I will say Mayor Mueller was unfortunately not able to join us tonight, but he sends his regards. And again, really great to see the turnout tonight. Appreciate your interest in being here. This week we've got a team of top-notch consultants in town, led by Urban Design Associates and Megan O'Hara, principal at UDA. As well, we've got RCLCO. We'll present some findings from their economic analysis. And we have Torty Gallus and Associates, another urban design firm, that are on the consulting team. I will also add Walker Parking is part of our consulting team looking at our parking needs downtown. So we've got a lot of really excellent consultants here. And I'm going to turn it over to Megan to talk through a little bit about what have we found so far in our analysis in the downtown area, and then she will also give you the nuts and bolts of how we're going to collect your feedback tonight. So let's give a round of applause for Megan O'Hara from Urban Design Associates.
Thank you, Caleb. How's everyone doing on this nice South Bend evening? It's beautiful. Thanks for spending a couple of hours inside with us, and hopefully we'll keep this shorter than 30 minutes so that we can hear from you tonight and get you back out to enjoy tonight. So why are we doing a plan? What is a plan? This Downtown South Bend Master Plan is going to look at a 20-year vision for downtown and think about an implementable strategy to make sure that things happen. You have an amazing leadership group and an amazing city who gets things done. And we are sitting in one of the great gems of your downtown and your downtown neighborhoods here at Howard Park. How can we bring this level of investment and prosperity to the other side of the river? This plan is going to guide decisions for the coming 20 years. And it's going to take into account all of your input. What is most important to you in terms of the uses that are downtown, the public spaces that are downtown, what it feels like, and the types of things that you'd like to see come. So this project kicked off in February. Was anyone here for the February or March workshops? Oh, amazing. And did anyone fill out the survey? Some folks? Great. So we are at I think the most exciting part of this whole process. This is Design Week. And we have a room full of designers and illustrators here to draw your ideas in live time and bring them back to you later this week for you to react to. Where do we go from here? After Design Week, we're going to incorporate all of the input and the comments and the guidance and the great ideas that you share with us and develop those into a draft plan, which we will then bring back in an open house so that you can have additional feedback into those refined ideas. Complete the plan, and then get to work implementing the plan ideas. So here we are, Monday evening, open house. This is the evening where we present back what we heard from you in the first step, which was all about listening. Tomorrow, you can come around lunchtime to the same space and see some in-progress ideas. So early sketches, framework drawings, ideas about how to connect up the waterfront, ideas about how vacant land might be developed, ideas about uses, new uses from downtown that you'd like to see. And we'll take additional input that you give us tomorrow and continue to refine that. The big celebration is going to be Thursday at 6 p.m. at the library auditorium. We'll present all of the ideas from this week, and you'll have additional opportunities to tell us what you like about those ideas, what maybe doesn't fit into your idea of downtown, and if you have additional thoughts or ideas that we didn't get to cover, we can add those on Thursday. So back in February, we had Casey Steinbacher talk to us about the transition and transformation that Durham went through. And she used a term that I loved, which is downtown is the city's living room. It doesn't matter what neighborhood you live in, if you live outside of the city of downtown or outside of the city of South Bend, downtown is the place where we can all come together to gather, to enjoy the many restaurants and the cultural offerings that downtown has. It says a lot about who you are and what you value. So it's important that in this plan, we embed and we incorporate all of your values for Gathering Place into the plan. In the engagements and in the summaries and the surveys, you also helped us identify places that you love to visit. And you said, I wish our downtown could be a little bit more like Grand Rapids or Washington, D.C., or Greenville, South Carolina. And the places that people talked about loving were vibrant, active, colorful, family-friendly places. So South Bend has a little bit of that, but I think we can do better. And we can incorporate some of the imagery and some of the placemaking opportunities that you see in those places into your downtown. The city has made amazing advancements and strides into the connectivity of downtown. You have bike paths and walking paths and new crosswalks and public realm improvements, and that's incredible. But people have identified there are also places where your riverfront is disconnected, or places you would like to be able to walk to or get to that are blocked off today. So we've got a little bit further to go in terms of connecting up all of those riverfront connections so that people can, do a 5-minute loop in downtown. If you have a little bit more time, maybe you're on a 15-minute walk, or if you're strolling around for the day, maybe you're stopping into shops and restaurants, that you can actually spend a half day walking around downtown in the riverfront. Then in addition to our public realm, we also need places to gather, and we need the development. We need the private uses that activate those public spaces and trails. So these are some pictures of downtown South Bend today, and I think we can all see that we have an opportunity with the buildings that could be activated and the uses that could be brought to downtown. A couple of examples of places that have done this successfully. Greenville, South Carolina. Has anyone been to Greenville? It's a lovely little downtown. They did a downtown plan about 5 to 8 years ago, and they've really been activating and implementing that plan. Their plan was focused on preserving and attracting businesses, connectivity, just like South Bend has been pursuing, and keeping housing affordable. So as of right now, South Bend has fairly affordable housing, but we all know that those costs are going up. So how do we plan for success, which Casey spoke about, and make sure that we have policies in place to be able to plan for affordability long term? Grand Rapids, a place that I love to visit, their plan, Forward Downtown and River Action Plan, was all about restoring the riverfront as a destination. I think that South Bend has that in common. They've also thought about more housing downtown, and that's something that we'll be talking about as well. So the city has led neighborhood plans surrounding most of downtown, but if you squint your eyes in the middle, we don't actually have a coordinated plan for downtown, which is why we're undertaking this at this time. There's also a number of investments of these downtown sites. You have a lot of investment actually coming to your downtown. New projects and investments total roughly $1 billion of investment coming to downtown South Bend in the coming years. We want to make sure that we capture that, capitalize on it, and connect to it. So through all of the past engagement efforts and the survey, there's been some interesting findings. We want to share those with you tonight. Most people who come to downtown, spend time in downtown, don't actually live in downtown. Actually, 60% of people don't live in downtown. So there's an opportunity there for more people to live in downtown. But the people who come to downtown come fairly often, 4 to 7 times a week. Maybe they work in downtown, maybe they come for other reasons or enjoyment, but people are here pretty frequently. The survey asked what are downtown's most important needs, and business attraction was at the very top of that list, as well as access to and celebration of the riverfront. So that whole theme of connectivity and open space and enjoying this beautiful river that you have here. Once people get here, 93% would prefer to walk around. So we need to continue to improve those connections, as well as the experience of walking, making sure that we're not walking past vacant lots and parking garages and things that, blank walls and things like that that make it less enjoyable. In terms of the riverfront, people want dining along the river. How many restaurants can you choose from that have outdoor riverfront dining? Not so many today, but hopefully more in the future. As well as well-connected trails and events happening right on the river. Our team has done a series of physical analyses. We want to share just a couple of highlights with you. So this is the building footprint in downtown. We've mapped every single retail storefront, and this is the pattern of retail that you have in South Bend. So people said, I want to be able to wander around and go in shops and coffee shops and have a glass of wine and have a nice lunch. And you've got great business owners and great businesses downtown, but they're sort of scattered in a pretty large area. You can see that there's only one half block here that has face-to-face retail. We point that out, it's right there on Michigan Street. So we said, okay, let's look at some of those other cities that people like spending time in, and what does their retail pattern look like? In Fort Wayne, city is just slightly larger than South Bend, but if you squint your eyes, you can see that their retail is much more consolidated. 2 or 3 streets in a core area with face-to-face retail, so everyone knows that you're going downtown to go shopping or go out to eat, exactly where you're going. Grand Rapids, that's a pretty striking pattern. You can see this core retail hub here compared to South Bend's, which is much more spread out. And then, because Casey was talking about Durham, we took a look at Durham as well, and they have one main shopping and dining street. So as we think about what we do with retail in downtown, we need to concentrate and condense that retail so that people feel the energy when they're in the core downtown. You also have a lot of institutions in downtown, and that is a strength. You have the hospital, you have the Morris, you have the Century Center, you have Four Winds Field, but it takes up quite a bit of the land. So 32% of the real estate downtown in this area is actually institutional land, so that includes government buildings as well. And you can see those anchors, those anchor institutions that draw people downtown that we need to build on and connect to. Caleb mentioned Walker Parking. They were in town last week, and they inventoried every single parking space in this geography. We were curious, how many parking spaces are there? A total of 14,000 parking spaces. About 2,000 of those are on street, about 2,500, a little bit more in public garages, and almost 10,000 in private garages. They also looked at what happens across the time of day. So your parking downtown is 46% occupied at 10 a.m., and that's the most occupied that it is. And then that decreases throughout the day. So by 8 p.m., only 15% of the parking spaces are occupied. So we have parking, but maybe it's not in the right place, or maybe it doesn't feel safe and accessible and comfortable to people. And so we want to learn more about what's needed. The good news here is that that is an asset that you can use to develop more of those uses that you want downtown. So that's actually pretty good news. The other plans that we mentioned in Greenville and in Grand Rapids, they were focused on bringing residential downtown. On this map, the yellow are single-family houses, and the orange are multi-family apartment and condo complexes. So you do have some housing downtown, but not much. The majority of the housing is in the neighborhoods adjacent to downtown. So where we have vacant land and we have an opportunity for people to live in downtown, that means that they're here to support businesses, they're here to activate downtown at night and make it feel like a safe residential place. We mentioned all of the great trails and connectivity that the city has been putting in. We've mapped that. You have some exciting new trail connections going to Notre Dame, at Science Park and the east side of the river, and quite a nice bike and pedestrian connectivity in downtown. But there's still opportunity for improvement, especially the riverfront trail. You're sort of missing the green along the west side of the river. RCLCO completed a market and economic analysis, and at the highest level, these are the uses on the left-hand side that South Bend has a strong market for today. You have restaurants, so that's a good sign. You could have more dining, both fast casual and sit down. You've got a strong market for rental apartments, so that housing that we were just mentioning, for sale townhomes, maybe additional limited service hotel. So the A-Loft is nearing completion on the construction. It's sort of a proof of concept for additional hotels downtown, where people can walk to dinner, where people can go to a baseball game or enjoy being in South Bend. You actually have a fairly decent market for a grocery pharmacy. That is great news. Most communities would die to have this on their strong market list. And services, personal services, professional services. And then maybe in the future we can think more about some of the things in the moderate and weak markets. But today we've got a pretty good foothold in terms of uses that can be built and developed in downtown. Let's come back to that idea of the living room. The team reviewed all of the survey data and what you told us was important, and we wrote 8 development principles. I always think of these as the report card, and if we don't do these 8 things in 20 years, then we will have failed our downtown initiative. Well, so we want to activate the riverfront. That was pretty loud and clear. Expand housing options for everyone. Anchor downtown with jobs and people. Bring more people in to downtown. Create a safe and inclusive place for everyone and a vibrant place. So our public spaces, our gathering spaces, they should be active. People should be out enjoying them just like they are here at Howard Park. Build comfortable and accessible connections. Grow and support local businesses. So your businesses, they are dedicated. They are showing up to meetings. They are telling us what they need. And we need to find ways to bring additional businesses into downtown. And then to embrace sustainable practices. One of the things we'll want you to do tonight on the board over on this side of the room is to tell us which of these are most important to you. Which ones do you feel encompass the priorities that you have for downtown South Bend? So today you have some streets that take you through downtown. There's certain streets that are pretty easy to get in and out of. And you have projects that have $1 billion of investment that are coming that are along some of those routes. Michigan Street is your traditional historic main street for retail, and it stretches between 4 and 5 blocks. That's pretty long for a city the size of South Bend. And then you have the river, but when you're on Michigan Street, you don't know there's a river there. You can't see it, you can't perceive it. So the living room is all about tying together and marrying the retail main street, the place that you want to go and be, with the riverfront experience. So tonight, we're going to be asking you to react to everything that we've heard so far and help give us some guidance and ideas for what to explore this week. We have 5 stations this evening, and we'll help ask you to move around the room and try to hit all 5 of these stations. The first one is the summary of what we've heard, and we want to know, did we get it right? Is there something that we missed? The second is about riverfront and open space, which I think is up here. There's some precedent images. We'd like to know which ones you feel like are good ideas, good comparables for South Bend. We have retail and institutions, just over here in this corner. You can tell us what type of retail is needed here, how it should look, how it should feel, where it should be located. Housing, if we have a goal of bringing more people to downtown, what types of housing are most needed and appropriate for downtown South Bend? And then bike, ped, and bus connections, which is over on this side. Help us understand where those missing connections are and what you would like to see. So we're going to break, and then I will put this image up at the end as well. The most important thing is, if you can, please come back on Thursday evening and join us at the library to see the results of Design Week and to give us all of your input, additional input at that time. Okay, thank you very much.